Hi. As a compliance officer, you will engage with various stakeholders, people with different interests and motivations within the organization. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can effectively manage your stakeholders and create strong and lasting relationships with them. The first tip is to identify your stakeholders. Know each and every person that you need to work with within the business, within different control functions, and within the risk management space. Everyone is important to identify and connect with. You don't want to forget anybody or miss anybody out when you're having important engagements. So first and foremost, identify who your stakeholders are. Number 2, remember that your stakeholders are people just like you. Understand who they are and what motivates them, and speak to that. If you're speaking to someone who's in sales, for example, and they're very relational, have a coffee with them, ask them how they're doing, make a connection, and then start speaking to the things that you're trying to achieve in the sales space. If you're speaking to someone who's in operations and they're about efficiency and time management, don't waste their time with a 6-hour meeting. Get to the point and speak to them about how what you're trying to introduce is going to increase efficiency and make their work easier. So remember, understand what motivates each of your stakeholders. Meet them where they are and engage with them while speaking to those specific things, and you're more likely to get what you're trying to achieve out of the situation. Thirdly, trust is key in any relationship, whether it's at work or personal. So establish trust with your stakeholders. Deliver consistently, and if you're unable to deliver for any reason, because we all know that life happens, communicate with your stakeholders. Don't let them find out things that you know that impact them by accident or too late. Make sure that you are consistent in your delivery, in your approach, and in keeping your word. And that builds trust with your stakeholders. Number 4, bring solutions to the table. So when you are engaging with your stakeholders, make sure that you have a solution mindset as to how compliance can be achieved. So for example, if there's a pending regulatory change that impacts various stakeholders, come to them and educate them about the regulatory change, and also bring solutions as to how that change can be implemented in their various areas. They will appreciate that you have been thoughtful about how the impact of this regulatory change can be operationalized. This talks to your consistency, it talks to your trust, and it talks to your ability to bring solutions to the table. Don't just approach your stakeholders and say, well, XYZ regulation is coming up. This is what you need to implement, and goodbye. Work with them on creating solutions that are working for the business and maintaining compliance. Tip number 5, and this is one that's going to challenge you. Take the high road. Stakeholders can sometimes be very difficult. We've all dealt with someone who was not necessarily pleasant to work with, but ultimately it's better to have and to build a positive relationship than to foster an acrimonious one. I've had the experience of someone sending an email to practically the whole organization, sharing how disgruntled they were about something. The option was to either reply all and defend myself, or engage that individual one-on-one. I chose to engage the individual one-on-one and to understand what his specific frustration was. And after working through exactly what the issue was, we were able to actually build a very strong and professional and non-acrimonious relationship as we went forward. It's not about fighting and entering into the boxing ring with someone in a reply-all competition. It's about fostering and building a relationship that will have the stakeholder feel that they have been heard and their issues are being addressed, and for you to also achieve your objectives by making your stakeholder understand potentially what the issue is, why there's a delay and why certain things have to happen the way they do have to happen. Sometimes it's a broken telephone kind of situation. So take the high road, meet someone where they are, one-to-one, face-to-face, and don't engage in performances and, fighting. That doesn't look good for you, and it doesn't look good for your stakeholders. So it's okay to take something offline and to manage your relationship, even when everything in you might be wanting to shout from the rooftop that you're not the person in the wrong. So take the high road. It'll work better for you in the long run. I know I said 5 tips, but hey, if movies can have bonus clips, I can give you a bonus tip. And my bonus tip to you is stand your ground. Sometimes stakeholders are non-cooperative. Sometimes they're just being difficult for no good reason. And do not allow yourself to be pushed into a position where you are compromising your values, your integrity, or compliance because of a difficult stakeholder. Make sure that your voice is being heard. Make sure that you are standing firm on the points that you know to be true and right. If necessary, escalate to management above you if you feel that this is something that is now beyond your control. But at the end of the day, it's your voice that needs to be heard, and your stakeholders also need to know where the line is when they are dealing with you. I hope you enjoyed my 5+ bonus tips on stakeholder management. And know that ultimately, stakeholder management is an art form. It's something that you go through and discover how to do it with each individual stakeholder on a case-by-case basis. Don't be too hard on yourself if you're still figuring it out. You'll get there eventually. We're all still learning ultimately as we navigate in our own various spaces. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.